Hi and welcome back to Let's Explore Pitch. Okay, so this week we are going to compose our own pieces of music using the 4 phrases, the 4 musical sentences that you created last week using your found sounds. Okay, before we get started though, let's have a quick recap of the words we've learned. So I'm going to give you the words and then I want you to come back in a moment after you've had a think about them, and then we're going to talk through them together. Okay, so last week we learnt about the pentatonic scale. We've also learnt about pitch, which is the main focus of our lessons, of our sessions. We've also learnt dynamics and tempo. And we've also learnt about ostinato patterns, and we have a rhythmic and a melodic ostinato pattern. Now, if you were able to print off the sheet with those words on, then maybe make a little note next to them, or if you just want to talk to them about some, but talk about them to somebody, then that's absolutely fine. You don't have to write down your answers if you don't want to. Okay, so pause your video and then join me again when you think you know your answers, and we'll go through them together. Okay, pause. Welcome back. How did you get on? Let's think about the pentatonic scale first. So, how many different notes does our pentatonic scale have? Remember to think about that pent sound. That's right, we have 5 different notes. And we were thinking about the notes C, D, E, G, A when we sang our pentatonic scale last week. In the previous lessons, you've learnt about the ostinato patterns. That's right, an ostinato is a repeated pattern. A rhythmic ostinato is a rhythm pattern. So, something like so we don't really think about the different pitches. So our melodic ostinato is where we use different pitch sounds. And that is repeated over and over again. Okay, so we've got a rhythmic and a melodic ostinato pattern. Our pitch is to do with our high and our low sounds, well done. Our dynamics are to do with our loud and quiet sounds, and our tempo is to do with how fast or slow our sounds can be. Well done. In our session today, we're going to carry on creating our piece of music using our phrases. But first of all, we're going to create something called a drone. Now, a drone is usually a low note that you hear for quite a long period of time. Now, because we're using our found sounds, we might struggle to find a sound that lasts for a long time, where the vibrations keep going. But I would like you to find something that's got quite a deep sound, but also rings a little bit longer. So I have found my bowl, and I'm going to use my bowl as my drone sound. So just have a listen. It nearly lasts for 4 beats. Listen. 1. And that's lower than my lowest pitch sound for my 5 sounds. So I would like you to pause your video and go and find something that gives you that lower sound but lasts a little bit longer. Okay, and then I'll meet you back here when you've found it. Okay, so don't forget, pause your video. So now what we're going to do is our drone is going to last for 4 beats. If your sound carries on for much longer than 4 beats, by all means have your drone lasting for 8 beats. Okay. So what we're going to try and do, you might be able to do this on your own, but you might need somebody else's help. So if you've got a brother or sister at home, maybe get one of them involved, ask them to play a part, or a parent or a carer, or you can have a go on your own. So you need your two things that you're going to use as your beaters. Okay, so I'm going to use my pencil for my jar sounds, for my pentatonic phrases, and I'm going to use my wooden spoon handle for my drone. Okay, so it's going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to add in my 4 phrases that I wrote with you last week. So it's going to sound like this. Oops, let's try that again. Whoops. Okay, so sometimes they won't always go together like I did in my piece, but a little bit of practice will make a little bit better. So did you notice which beat did I hit my bowl on? Was it 1, 2, 3 or 4? That's right, it's on beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So with the first note that you play for each phrase, first, okay? So just by playing those 4 phrases with your drone sound, you've already got a great little piece. So pause your video, find your sound and have a go at playing those together, or get somebody else to play along with you. And you can conduct them, which means you're the leader, telling them when to play. Okay, pause your video and I'll see you in a moment. Have fun! Pause! Hello and welcome back. How did you get on? I hope you had fun while you were doing that. Okay, so remember your scores from last week, how you wrote your music down. Can you see that I have added here my drone? So D-R-O-N-E, and I've put that it's a bowl. And can you see I've done a line here going down and then a long line underneath, and then a line, a long line underneath, and then again, and then again. And that shows where you first play your drone, the first note. Go along with the first note, with the first note, and with the first note. Okay, so that is your drone and your 4 phrases together. What we're going to have a go at now is continuing our piece here. So in the rest of your boxes, or on the rest of your piece of paper, if you're not using this sheet, you can put these in these boxes, but in any order you like. So you could use this as your first row here, if you wish to, or you could change them around if you've decided you don't like them. I'm going to keep mine like that for my first row here. So that's going to be the first row of my piece of music. And then I'm going to carry it on and I'm going to put these in a different order here. And then there, and then there. And once you've got those, if you can only manage the first 2 rows, so 8 boxes, that's fine. If you can manage all 16 boxes, then brilliant. Do what you can, okay? When you've done that, come back and let's have a listen. So I'll play mine to you and I'll show you how I filled in my grid, okay? And then we'll go on to the next step. All right, so while you're doing this, pause your video as usual and then come back when you're ready and we'll see how we've got on. Okay, so enjoy yourselves. Don't worry if you get a bit stuck, come back and I'll go over it again. Okay, or you can rewind the video. Okay, pause. Welcome back. How did you get on? Okay, so remember, if you only managed to fill 8 of the boxes, that's great. If you managed to do 16 boxes, that's also great. So whatever you can do. So I've actually filled in 16 of my boxes. It looks a bit confusing, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to show you what I've done. So the first row, I've just pinched my phrases in the same order. So my first row here is exactly the same as that one. Then I change them round here, and then I change them round for the third time. But for the last time, I went back to using the same 4 phrases in the same order. And that kind of gives it a finished sound. It's a bit like a sandwich. So you've got the bread here, and then you've got a double decker, 2 layers of filling, and then you've got your bread at the bottom again. So it's a bit like a sandwich. The same thing here and there, and different things in the middle. So I'm going to play it to you, see what it sounds like. See if you recognise when it's coming back to the first time round again. So the first 4 phrases. So here we go. That's the first line. Second line. Third line. Did you hear when I started the last line again? The third line I got a little bit mixed up and I went a little bit wrong. But nobody knows until you tell them, because that's your piece of music. So when you've got all of your boxes filled in, 8 or 16, then have a go at playing it so you get a bit more confident. And then you can add your drone as well. So I'll just do the first 2 lines so you can hear how it would sound. Here goes. Wish me luck. Second line. Okay, so that was the first 2 lines. So you can have a go at adding your drone in as well, or getting somebody to help you. Maybe you can change over the parts. Let somebody have a go at the harder part and teach them how it should go and what your score shows. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to pause the video. Now, if you find that bit quite hard, then just go over and over that bit until you're comfortable with it. Okay, in the next bit of the video, I'm going to show you the next part that you could have a go at if you're ready. You might want to come back to this part later in the week when you've had more of a go of this first bit and you're a bit more comfortable. Okay, whichever decision you make, you've still got a really nice little tune. You've got a really nice composition, so well done. So pause the video, have fun, and I'll see you back here shortly. Pause. Welcome back if you're joining me for the next part of this video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to introduce something called rests. Now, a rest in music is that's right, it's a silence. So it's a break from the sounds that you hear. So we're going to use the same piece, but we're going to take out some of the sounds. Now you can choose to cross them out or you can choose to rub them out. So I'm going to cross them out to show you where I've done them. Okay, so I'm actually going to keep my first line exactly the same as it is. And then on the second line, I'm going to think about what sounds I would like. And I'm going to have some gaps in there. So I'm going to put some rests in there. So instead of having 2 C's at the beginning, I'm going to have 1 long C. So I'm going to cross out one of those C's and I'm going to make it a longer sound like that. But then I'm going to cross out the D. I'm not going to have the D anymore. That is going to be a 1 beat rest for me. So I'm going to scribble that out like that. So that starts with a C. Now, to remember to play the rest, because we need to hear that sound or that silence, I'm going to draw a little squiggle. So it might be better actually if you've got a rubber. Let me see if I've got one here. I've not, but never mind. So I'm going to draw a little squiggle next to it now. I don't know if you can see that in the circle just here. Okay, and in music, that means a 1 beat rest. Okay, so instead of having for my second line, I've now got a long C and a rest. So have a listen. I'm not going to talk this time. This is the first time, the first version, my original. So it seems like a really long time before I play my quick A's. Okay, let's have a look at the next bit. So I've got I'm going to take out all my quick notes. So it's a bit like a rest, but the sound will be longer. So I'm going to, for this box here, A, G, G, E, E, D, I'm just going to have A, G, E, D. So they're all going to be long, and they're actually going to be 1 beat notes. So long, scribble that one out, long, and scribble that one out. So I'm going to circle those to make sure I know what I'm playing. Okay, so can you see? C, and I've circled the 2 A's together because they're going to be quick notes. G, and we've got our squiggle rest here. And then in the next box, I've circled my A, which is now a long note. G, which is now a long note. E, which is a long note. And D, which is a long note. So this is the original sound. And this is now the new version. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. You can add in some rests, or you can make some of the quick notes just 1 long note instead. Okay, you could also, if you were feeling quite creative and you wanted to push yourself, you could try adding in extra notes. So you could try adding in 2 more. Okay, so they're even quicker notes. So instead of, you could go. Okay, so you need more short lines. So think about how you're going to show that on your piece of paper. Now, for most of the rest of this lesson, it's quite independent work. So I would like you to go away and think about your piece, do some rubbings out, add some quicker notes in there. I want you to really think about how your piece is going to sound and play it. And if you can, think about the dynamics as well. So how loud or quiet you're going to play it. Now you might be a bit restricted because it's hard to play. You can play them louder by hissing them louder, but you don't want to break anything. Okay, so experiment. And I'm going to give you quite a while to do this. So the next time we meet, we're going to actually recap what we've learnt this lesson. So over to you, be creative, see what you can come up with, and you can change this anytime you like. Remember, it's your composition because you are the composer composing your own music. Okay, enjoy, and I'll see you back here when you're ready for the final part of today's session. Pause. Welcome back. I hope you got on really well with that, but please use the time between this session and when I see you next time to be more creative. Maybe change your sounds, add in some extra sounds, and remember those rests as well, because rests are just as important. I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and I hope you've enjoyed creating or composing your own piece of music. So you have taken your 4 phrases, your 4 musical sentences, And you've created a paragraph of music, really, haven't you, by having 8 or 16 boxes worth of music. And just like when you're writing something, you look over it to see if you can make it better or if you can change it in any way to make it different or more interesting. And that's what you've done by adding in your extra notes, if you've added in those quick ones, by adding in some rests, your silences, and by making your quick notes longer notes. So you've edited your piece of music. So we've got our pitches. Have you had a go at the dynamics as well? If not, maybe have a go for next time. We've got our ostinato patterns. We've got our drone. We've got pitch, tempo, and dynamics. You're doing absolutely brilliantly because there's so many musical words to learn. So well done. Next week, we'll continue our journey on pitch. We've just got two more sessions to go, but I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, stay safe, and have fun. Bye for now.